My hands go up to each and every one of you, thanking you for coming to be with us today, answering the call to do a ceremony, to give honor and respect to our sacred waters, the spirit of wild salmon, our tree of life, the cedar. Before we begin, I want to ask my dear sister here, Grace Kelly, she could say a few words of welcome. She's from the Tsawali territory, and this is part of the Tsawali territory. Who's here?
Eastfield, Placey Tulsqui, Talitsa Chilliwack tribe, Talitsa Tsawali, Kasta Haklip. I'm from the Tsawali First Nations, which is part of the Chilliwack tribe and part of the Stalo territory. So welcome everybody for being here today. Eddie and I started this a few years ago, and this is really, really awesome to see everybody come out and acknowledge the special gifts and teachings that the water and the cedar and the salmon has to offer for our Stalo territory. So thank you for bringing your heart here in good body, mind, and spirit, for acknowledging this special resource that is in our Stalo territory that we have to take care of for our next 7 generations. I'm proud to acknowledge my granddaughter Daniela is with me today, and she's going to be able to assist in the work that is about to be done. So thank you, Daniela, for being here. Thank you, everybody, for being here, and our special workers, and of course, Teelam's Bath.
Thank you. It was a really moving experience to get together with Placey when we started this up a few years ago. And she said, we need to do something. We need to do something to honor the water and the salmon and the cedar in our territory here. These great life sustainers are something that we all would never take for granted. And so it's in ceremony where we deepen our respect, we deepen our gratitude, we deepen our love for what sustains us here in our territory for thousands and thousands of years. It's really important for us to honor the ancestors who have taken care of the land that we're living on right now for thousands of years. And one of the things that we're going to do is offer this salmon and this cedar to the water. And I want to acknowledge Ryan Foley for offering up the salmon. He filleted the salmon. He put the heart of the salmon in with this, with the bones and the head and the tail. And so there is a really important story that people need to know about. Our history goes back thousands and thousands of years. We know that the river is a shapeshifter. We noticed that when we tried to come and do a ceremony at the same place we did last year. But the shape-shifting waters went and carved a big hole in this area where we were last year. And so we had to look for another place. And Dan Coulter and I, we went and cased the place out here, and we found this beautiful spot here. It's a little ways away from the main trail there. It's out close by the river. We can see the power of the river here. So I want to thank Dan Coulter for bringing the wood to help us make a sacred fire.
Just be careful. That water can go guys everywhere.
Yeah, the water is very powerful, and she's asking us to be very careful with the water here. And but before we begin, I must tell you this story. The story called Salmon Boy. A long time ago in our history goes back thousands and thousands of years when humans and salmon were able to transform into each other. And there was a story this boy who was playing out by the river, and he knew that there was a salmon village in the underwater, under the water in the river, and that the salmon people were actually from his community. And he knew that the salmon had a great power, a power greater than humans. The salmon fed the people. And when the salmon fed the people, the salmon were able to transform themselves into people. They looked like people, but not only did they look like people, but they were actually people. They actually became humans. And so there was a covenant of agreement that when we ate that salmon, there was something that needed to be done. We needed to give back to the salmon. What could we give back to the salmon? We as human beings don't have that much. We're so dependent on everything that's around us. So we could give back the bones to the salmon people. So this boy, when he was out playing, he had the bones that he was asked to bring to the river. But instead of bringing the bones to the river, he decided that he wanted to play instead. And so he put the bones by a bush just by the little trail on the way down to that river. And then he went out and he played. And at the end of the day, he went back to his community and he told his people that he had done what he was supposed to do, that he put the bones into the water. And everybody believed him. He had no reason not to. And so, a few days later, he was out playing by the water and he fell in. And when he fell into the water, he started to drown. And the salmon people, they were starting to swim back down to their village. And they saw this young boy who was in great trouble. And so they went up and they took that boy and they dragged him down into the village. And they took good care of him. They treated him with great honor as an honored guest in their village. And they fed him. And he started to recover. And he spent a year. He had to spend a year down in there before he could go back to his village, as the salmon people transformed into humans and they went into the village. And so he got to know all the salmon people there, the young and the old. And he had a high respect for them. And one day, during that time, where he was waiting to go back to his village, he saw a young girl. And the young girl was all paralyzed down one side of her. It was all caved in. And he was wondering what happened to her. And so he asked the young children who were close by, who he was playing with, so what is going on with that girl? And they said, oh, so that girl does not have any bones on all that side of her body. There's no bones there. So that's why she is the way she is. And so the young boy took that in, and he didn't say anything. He knew what was going wrong. He knew that he had not returned the bones to the water as he should have, as he had the opportunity to do. And so he knew that he brought sickness to this young girl here. And so as the year went by, he went back up to his village and he told the people what had happened. he explained to the people, the Salmon people treated me with the greatest honor. The Salmon people took really good care of me. So if they love us and they take such good care of us and they honor us in such a high regard, we have to honor the Salmon people as well. We have to pay respect and show gratitude for all the goodness that they're bringing, because the Salmon people are far more powerful than we are. The Salmon people not only feed the humans, but they have that ability to generously come up and swim in great, huge schools all the way up to the spawning grounds, and they feed the humans and they feed the orca when they go out to the big ocean. They feed the wolves and the bears and the eagles. So they're more powerful. They have greater spiritual significance than we do even. So we have a covenant of agreement. The old instructions, the original instructions, we need to live up to. He said, I regret that I brought sickness to the people down there, the Salmon people. And so we must continue on and do this ceremony, do this obligation to fulfill our part, our duty, our responsibility, so that we don't break that agreement that we have with the Salmon people. If we break that agreement with the Salmon people, we violate it, and it disrupts, it interrupts the great cycle of life that happens. And so that's why, that's the significance of the ceremony that we're going to do here today. See, we're going to offer the bones back to the water. We're going to offer the head and the tail. We're going to offer the heart of the salmon back to the river to pay respect and honor. We're going to sing our songs. We're going to sing our sacred songs to the water, the salmon, and the cedar. And that resonance, that heartbeat, is going to be the heartbeat of our Mother Earth. It's going to be the heartbeat of the landscape here. The spirit of our wild salmon is in the whole landscape around here. We are so connected to this landscape for thousands and thousands of years. And now we share this with everyone who has come to be a part of this, to live in this beautiful part of what we call our sacred Mother Earth here. The Stalo territory. And so we're going to continue doing this. We're going to continue to ask people to come forward. Continue to show our love and our respect and our gratitude to the sacred waters, to the spirit of wild salmon, to our tree of life, our Ukti. The story of our cedar is that in the great time of transformations, Chachals, our great transformer, saw a man who was doing really good things for the people, showing a great deal of generosity to the people. And so, after a life of living with that kind of medicine, Chachal said, when you go to the place that you are going to go into the spirit world, a cedar tree will grow. And ever since then, the cedar trees have grown in our territory. Before the Europeans first came here, the trees grew like giants in the sky. We were able to carve planks out of the trees, and the tree would still continue to live on, and we'd use those planks to make our cedar homes. We used the cedar for our dugout canoes. We used the cedar roots and the cedar bark to make our clothes, to make our mats. So the cedar represents that spirit of generosity. And so when we look at our cedar tree, we don't look at our cedar tree as a resource. We don't look at it as in terms of how much lumber can we get out of it. We look at the cedar tree as a relative. the same way we look at the salmon. The salmon is our relative as well. And so this invitation for all of you to come out and share this respect for the salmon, to share this respect and love for the waters is very important for us because we can't take them for granted any longer.
There's a lot of cedar trees in my yard.
There's a lot of cedar trees in her yard.
Awesome.
We need to plant some more cedar trees as well. So what we're going to do, my dear ones, we're going to ask 4 carriers to carry the salmon. We're going to carry the tree. We're going to carry the salmon all around in this circle here. And we're going to come out this way, and we're going to go down to the water. And Danielle, she's going to come with me. We're going to lead. We're going to lead ahead. We're going to sing the song. We ask everyone to just follow us down to the river after we get down there. We'll line up along the river. We're going to do the offerings to the water. Do the offerings to the salmon. Do our respect and love and gratitude for the cedar, for all of it. And then we'll sing some more songs to the water after that. And when the ceremony is over, everyone is invited to the Tractor Grease Cafe to enjoy some more drumming and singing, some food. Good, yeah. Thank you. Yeah. Have a good eye.
4 of them.
4 of them.
I like your jacket.
Aw, thank you. Somebody laced my jacket.
I like it too. And we saw a tail. It reminds me of Vedder.
Oh yeah,
yeah. 15 minutes.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah, oh yeah. Lord.
This is from our Tree of Life, CM. Be careful, like the little one said, when you go by the water, it runs swift.